Good afternoon and welcome along to the West Yorkshire Football Show. We're here for post-match reaction to Leeds United 1, Aston Villa 2. Leeds United, third defeat on the trot. It's 1 win in 7 games. They are in the bottom 3 by merit now. Everyone's played 12 games. And yeah, things are looking a little bit sticky. Did take the lead today in a really good first half. But the second half eventually, unfortunately, Villa managed to turn it around. We're going to go through it all. We're going to break it down, get mine and Jay's thoughts. Welcome along, everyone. I can see there's a few comments in already. Thank you for that. We'll try and get to some of them. Please make sure you're liking the video and subscribing to the channel as well. Jason, well, it was all going so well. I was sat at half-time. I actually went today and I was sat there with my loaded fries at half-time thinking, this is great, is this? We're loving it. And it was interesting, actually, because I don't know if you've been where, as the second half kicked off, people were getting back to the seats and there were still people pouring in, even some going out. And it you know, in the ground where it doesn't actually feel like it's actually started the second half because people like mooching about, and it was really bizarre. And then all of a sudden Villa scored. It was like, that's not fair. We hadn't had a chance to kind of sit down and take it in. But Jay, I mean, overall, a better performance. You know, we talked about needing a performance today. I think there were improvements on that front. But the overall situation, obviously, it doesn't look good at the minute. Obviously, we've got a difficult run going up. I mean, a win today, we would have kept up that points per game average, even going into the next couple of games as well. It would have really helped out, but we weren't able to get it over the line. I mean, where's your head at? I mean, I'm kind of a bit scrambled with it at the minute because it was a better performance, and you know, but again, we've not taken possibly what we should have deserved. I do feel like we were worthy of a point today at least, but again, I mean, it's fine margins, isn't it? And we've been on the wrong side. But what's your overall feeling at the end of today?
It was very reminiscent of Spurs. It was very, very reminiscent of the Spurs game at home. You know, maybe with a few less chances. I think against Spurs we had some really gilt-edged chances today. You know, there were a few more half chances. Luck just doesn't go on our side again. You know, it hits Calvert-Lewin in the belly button instead of on the hand, and that's a goal. And or it doesn't hit anybody and it just goes straight in. You know, one of them moments. But we you know, there's plenty to get into here, and I think we have to really drill down and deep into this as much as we possibly can. I think I'm going to start off by saying that we clearly saw that the players were playing for the manager. Yeah. I think that is, you know, was very evident. I thought the first half was excellent. The tenacity and the guile, the determination to bridge the gap of the quality was there in spades. The creative outlet still wasn't. We were still having a huff and puff to make chances. You know, there was a couple of decent moments from Brendan and Bogle, I thought, down the right in the first half. Get to individual performances, but I thought the left side was horrific. And I'm specifically talking about Noah Okafor in that. But we'll come to that. The midfield battle, where, you know, the game is so often won and lost in the midfield. I thought Stack, Longstaff and Ampadu were brilliant. Stack comes off, and I thought when Tanaka came on, he was excellent as well in that first half. Really, you know, didn't give them any time on the ball. We were making sure that we were winning all the 50-50s. The referee didn't have a great game, was inconsistent, but, you know, still we were snapping at them and we were making it uncomfortable, you know. And we bridged that gap. Then the second half comes, and individual errors and moments of quality change the game that we just simply don't have. And I believe, you know, bear in mind Villa now have won 6 out of the last 7. You know, that after the early sticky form, they've really come into good form. I just struggle to believe how we can hope for that much more than what they displayed today with the side that we've got, with the quality that we've got. I don't understand what more I could be hoping to see. You know, a team that are probably a little bit less in quality, a Brentford, a Fulham, you know, a couple of the others in the bottom half of the table come to Ellen Road today. We probably brush them aside and win 2-0. But Villa have just got that little bit of extra quality. You know, people are quick to then say online that Villa played crap today, but give no credit to the fact that we created that performance. Yet the gap is bridged by the level of quality that they've got in them individual moments. You know, 1 to 11, again, and we've said this so many times this season, you take every single one of them, Browney. We mentioned, I'm going to try and not cover too much all in once, but I just feel like I have to say this now. We mentioned earlier on this season about needing a goalkeeper that keeps you in games at key pivotal moments. The free kick is bang average. It's not a great free kick. It goes right down the centre of the goal. Yeah, it gets it on target, and it's difficult to get a free kick on target from that distance, but it's literally not that far away from him. He should save it.
We were all stood there just on that point because I was at top of the east stand and we were basically from the other side, and everybody around us were like, what's he done?
Yeah,
I don't understand how he hadn't just. And you watched it. I mean, it's pretty damning. You look at some of the replays. He's planted, and there's just no attempt.
It's like he's made the wall so good, and the free kick is so close to the box that he's kind of like completely bereft of responsibility from saving it. That's what it feels like. It feels like he's like, I don't even have to move as long as I cover this side of the goal and it doesn't go in there. If it goes in that side, it's not my fault. And I personally think it's very savable. I don't even think it's that great a free kick. I really don't. So yeah, but ultimately, Browney, we've lost the game, and we've lost the game at home, in which, you know, at some point or another, whether it's Villa, Brentford, Fulham, Manchester United, Burnley, whoever, we have to be picking up points somewhere, and we've picked up none. So it's difficult. It's really, really, really difficult because ultimately everybody will look at the manager and blame the manager. Has he made mistakes today? Yes. I don't think the starting lineup was one of them. I think the starting lineup was fine, and I'm sure we're going to go over that in detail as well. The subs were too late. The in-game management of the second half, I think, was lackluster, but I would also then question what else does he do given what he's got. I thought it was ballsy. He brought, you know, people were like, whoa, why is he bringing Tanaka back off? And Tanaka was on a yellow card. He slid in at the halfway line and nearly took somebody out and could have been sent off. It kind of got ignored because it weren't brought back for a free kick with the referee played on. And he was clearly trying to go 4-2-3-1, which we've not seen once all this season. He tries to play a 10 and leave Brendan on the pitch. Was it the right thing? Who knows? But he's trying something different, and everybody will sling at him that he doesn't try anything different. But there is some stuff that I really didn't like with what he did in the second half as well. So it's tough, mate. Ultimately, he's going to get sacked. He won't get sacked after this. He won't get sacked on the back of this game. But he will get sacked probably after Man City, is my gut feeling, before we then have Chelsea and Liverpool at home. Yeah. And I think the most damning indictment that I kind of sit with tonight is the squad, the recruitment.
Yeah, and it was interesting listening to BBC Radio Leeds, their phone in after the match, and because you thought, oh, this is going to be a lot of Farke bashing, and you did get that, but there were a lot of people questioning the recruitment, questioning the squad, questioning some of the business. You know, I can see a comment from Skip a bit earlier. How can you spend 100 million and almost look worse than you did in the Championship? And I think there's going to be big question marks about this because it's a real difficult one because watching it, we did that first half exactly what we have to do. Like you said, that's how Leeds can bridge that gap. It's being aggressive in the face. Before kick-off, there was almost kind of the Villa fans were actually louder right at the start of the game in the corner. And then when it kicked off, it was almost like Ellen Road was waiting to see what performance we were going to get. And then as soon as we showed that we were up for it, crowd were bang on it and the atmosphere were great and we were on top of them. And I thought Nemecha were really good. I thought he were harassing their defence and he was so much energy and, you know, gets another goal. You know, we had that attitude about us. But then you just, even scoring early, you just feared that like you say, the quality difference, because you know that they can pull a moment out of nowhere to pull it back, and that was the fear. It's almost like we've scored too early here, because you knew Emery were going to grab him at half time. Someone like him is going to put something in or figure something out.
What changes at half time as well. It brings on Daniel Mallon and Ian Maatson, who would both walk into our team. They would both walk into our team, and they changed the game. I mean, Daniel Mallon changes the game within 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to interrupt you. Please hold the point that you've got there. Let's be real, that this team is still better than the team that we had last season. It's just coming up against so much higher level of opposition. So it's distorted. It is better than last season. The likes of Stack and Beal and all these, they walk into championship teams. This Okafor would literally play with championship defenders. But the level of recruitment isn't sufficient to bridge the gap to get the points on the board. I don't think right now in the Premier League it's a different kind of thing. DMAC, it is. You're seeing that it's not, because we're not getting results at this level. But if you were to drop this team into the Championship right now, it would literally break all the records that have ever been set ever. It would, especially under Farker and the way that he plays at Championship level, he would dominate. It is better, but we're just going up against such a higher level of opposition. The large parts of the team, guys, is the same. Let's not kid ourselves. Again, we start creating and talking narratives into reality that are just not true. But is it good enough? I don't know. I don't think it is. I said before, a ball was kicked, it finished 17th or 18th. I still think it's kind of in and around that, because I do think that we will get points against the teams that are a little bit lower down the league, but we have to be finding other points from somewhere else as well, because otherwise we won't end up on enough points. We'll end up on 26 to 30 points. So
I think that Farker asked for more attacking quality, and again for me, that's where I see it. And today, I mean, there were so many times, Jay, where you're just watching us kind of, somebody has the ball at the back. We've got those three midfielders and then the three in front of them. And it's very static. It's very, nobody can, there's no inventiveness there. There's no, it's just totally lacking in that. And you look at someone like Pajau, who we, chased. If you throw him into that team today, he can maybe get you a second at 1-0, or he can, put a set piece. He's got, that's someone who's got that X factor that can do something a bit different, like we had with Rafinha and like we had to a certain extent with Luis Sinisterra. We're completely lacking that. And to be fair to Farker, he openly, called that out. He advocated for that, and he didn't get what he needed. I fully believe that. I look at our wingers. I mean, it's like Dan James, and yes, he's looking sharp. I thought he looked sharp when he came on before, but a couple of times he knocks it in with his left foot, and it's just so poor.
So bad, yeah.
It's just so poor. It's like, I'm sorry, but it's not good enough. It's like when Nonto came on, and you feel the crowd are like, "Oh, Nonto, we're going to get to see Nonto." What did Nonto do that was any different to what anyone else was doing? I thought Okafor was absolutely garbage today. I've got to talk about Okafor, because I thought he was absolutely garbage.
Awful, mate. Really. It was worst player on the pitch.
What he was doing over and over again, gets the ball, and he's got some tidy control. He's got good technical ability for close control, but he'd knock it past his defender. I can't remember him beating his defender once and delivering anything. He just looks like he's bloody knackered. As soon as he knocks it a few yards in front of him to run on, he looks knackered. And do you know what it is as well? He ain't got the intensity. When he's going into a challenge or when he's fighting for a ball, he does not fight for the ball. He gives up. He absolutely gives up. He just hasn't got, I don't know if he doesn't fully trust his body or what it is, but he just doesn't have that intensity. And he was absolute garbage today, was Okafor. And that's where you're looking for someone to pull a rabbit out of the hat or give you something different. But yeah, he was poor, really poor.
Even though the first half went well, I'd a hooked sinister. I'd have hooked Okafor at half time. I thought it was that bad. I thought it was actually causing us more problems because of the way that he was giving the ball away and his just decision making and the lack of involvement that he gets in the game. You know, I felt a little bit sorry because I thought Brendan had a good first half, but I felt a little bit sorry for him second half because he cuts in from the right on 2 occasions and gives the ball away because he holds on to it too long. The problem is he's not good enough, right? Like, so what he's doing is he's trying to make things happen, but he's not good enough to make them things happen. Certainly not at the Premier League, but he's trying to make it happen. And then the players in and around him, there's no movement. There's no runners from midfield.
Exactly.
The striker situation, I mean, the static. I mean, I thought Mecha worked his absolute nuts off today, and there were times where he ran into the channel, where his pace actually took him away from Pau Torres. I mean, he had Pau Torres all over the place at times. But when his movement in between the lines in build-up is really, really poor. It doesn't look to get in and around them into the channels in them areas. It's different when we're breaking from back to front quickly. So yeah, you know, I shouldn't read the comments when I'm mid rant. Emery hooked 2 at half-time, levels and limits. Yeah, but he's got Ian Matson and Daniel Mallon to bring off of the bench. You know, like, yeah, I mean, at the time we're controlling the game, but we haven't got that level of ability to change the games. We haven't. We're
having a hook. We're having a hook Tanaka, and Farkas said it because he was scared he was going to get sent off.
Yeah.
Because then he knows he's not available next week, and because Stack's going to be out now, concussion protocol. He knows if Tanaka's not available, then you're going down to Gruev, and you've got no other central midfielders in your bloody squad.
Yeah. Yeah, spot on. Yeah, then you got a Gruev.
Then you got a Gruev, and then if one of you gets injured, who the hell comes in there? You got no one. Then do you know what I mean? So that's what we're dealing with in terms of a squad. Yeah, I mean, in terms of the lineup, I mean, we had Stroik come back in, but I'm scratching my head, Jay, because like you say, I mean, what are you supposed to do with this? What are you supposed to do with this squad? I guess what I'd say is there is somebody out there that can get something else from this squad that isn't Farker. I do fully believe that. But the chances of us being able to recruit that person and get that person in, that's what I'm completely not certain about. And I just feel like sometimes it's the way the wind blows. I mean, I was watching Bournemouth versus West Ham yesterday, and Bournemouth get it back to 2-0. Jay, they had about 15 glorious chances. Do you know what I mean? It's not like Villa have created a chance every 5 minutes. What have Villa created against us today? Really, a few pop shots. You know, they're not much at all, really.
He didn't have all to do, Browney. He didn't have all to do.
They clearly had more quality than us, but they've not created much. And you know, somehow we've lost the game too, wouldn't it? I'm not a person that comes on and says, "Oh, it's just bad luck. It's bad luck. It's bad luck. It's bad luck." Because I think that's pretty flimsy to say. But I think there's an element of it's just not gone for us as well. It's just things are just not going for us at the moment at all. And I don't know. I don't know where you go from there, really.
I absolutely agree. I mean, I've said a lot this week. I'm really worried about where the fan base is at. And I don't mean to dig the fan base out when I say this, but the fan base are not built for a relegation battle. They're not. The hysteria that we've seen over the last couple of weeks. I mean, even from just the ball being kicked, it has been wild. Like, and I'm just trying to enjoy this season as best we can, given the fact that I recognise how far away from a Villa this team is right now. We're nowhere near. You know, I've seen fans this week saying, well, West Ham and Forest made a change. Yeah, they were established Premier League teams who could attract Nuno, who could attract Sean Dyche. Yeah. We're not. Neither of them would have taken this job, I promise you. They wouldn't have taken this job because they would have looked at the squad and go, I haven't really got the capabilities of keeping this team up. I can get a bigger job. I'll wait for the Forest job. I'll wait for the West Ham job. You know, and I just see that, we've lost 6 out of the last 7, I think it is, right? And we're still only down in the bottom 3 on goal difference. We shouldn't be at this meltdown position that we are, and we're making our own suffering worse. Now, I'm not saying that we should just sleepwalk into relegation. I'm not saying that. I just have a real doubt that we're going to be able to attract the level of manager capable of making this team that much better, if anything better. I truly believe we end up down the Javi Gracia, Sam Allardyce route once again. Yeah, it'll be a desperate appointment because who's going to want it? Like, I just can't see it. And I'm not sitting here, I've said this all along, saying that Daniel Farke's perfect. He's not. And I've got question marks over whether he's the right person or not as well. But when I watch the performance today, it doesn't reek of a manager that's lost the dressing room. It doesn't reek of a manager that tactically is struggling to set a team up to nullify the opponents. I just don't think he has the player base to do it over a 90-minute game when Unai Emery is a better coach and he's got extremely better players. I just think we're in such a funny spot. I really believe if we were just making Ellen Road a hostile, furious atmosphere where like we were all behind the manager, we were all behind the players, we would be bridging this gap a little bit more often. And I just feel like we're kind of causing us own suffering a bit.
Yeah.
Tell me if I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe
no, I get it, and I think I do agree. I don't think Leeds is a club, a fan base built for kind of dealing with regular losses. I don't.
We're not.
I mean, I'll admit it for myself. I've said, till I'm blue in the face. I growing up, Leeds were a good Premier League team, and in my head, rightly or wrongly, I always think of us as that club. But the reality is, like we've said many times as well, we've been a championship team for 16, 17 years, whatever it is. And the Premier League's a different ball game, totally different ball game. And, I think bigger questions have to be asked as well. I think, the recruitment wise, you're looking, Stroik comes back in today, Beale's dropped to the bench. You dropped a lot of money on a centre back who, he didn't really make a difference when he came in, let's be honest. We're still conceding goals. How much responsibility you put on one person in the centre of defence, I don't know. But, Perry, question marks. You're looking at, Okafor now, and you're looking at that recruitment, Jay, and going, really, did we do enough? Did we do anywhere near enough? Could we have spent that money wiser? And did we need a more experienced director of football coming in when we're a newly promoted Premier League team? There's a hell of a lot of questions that need to be looked at. I think it's bigger than just Farke. And my worry is, I don't know how capable they are of picking the next guy. Like Gav's comment up there about, they made a Pigs era Rangers recruitment. Now, yeah, you can say it's separate teams and all this, whatever. But, I would be dubious about that whole thing. I really would. Look, hey, if they go and get an exciting appointment, someone that galvanizes and someone that brings the fan base together, someone that the fan base are kind of immediately behind, that could help massively, I think, because that just turns that kind of thing. We've always known Farke's on a short leash. Yeah. We've always known that, people were just waiting for it to go wrong under Farke to a certain extent. I don't think that's been unfair. I think that's definitely a thought. Maybe a fresh person in that role who we can get behind would kind of change that tide a little bit. But good luck finding that from the names that we've seen, really.
Yeah. Just want to comment on the recruitment, but just going to bring this comment up. I never said this. Never, ever, ever in a gazillion years did I say that this team would finish mid-table or anywhere near. So I don't know if you think another different person, Rich. But my first prediction before the ball was kicked was that this team would finish 17th or 18th. So I don't know where you're getting that from. However, the recruitment, mate. It's hard right now to argue that the recruitment hasn't got it catastrophically wrong. Now I've got to be careful because I am probably in danger of flip-flopping a little bit throughout the way that this season's gone so far. Because earlier on in the season, it was looking like some shrewd moves. DCL was looking like a shrewd move. Longstaff was looking like a shrewd move. We were all happy with Stack before the ball was kicked. The optimism around Perry. We go on and on and on. But now, as time is going on, James Justin, Seb Bornau, Yaka together combined total of 30 million quid. Noah Okafor, you could argue that them four, you save all of the money and just go out and buy one superstar, and it would have helped this team so much more. You genuinely could. You could genuinely make a case of going out and getting a couple of free transfers to fill them spots within the squad, and then actually pump the money into a player that was going to make a tangible, real difference. Maybe you go and throw another 50 grand a week at Pajau. I'm just throwing it out there, but you know what I mean. I don't think we're in a place of getting a £50 million striker, because I think we're still a recently promoted club. But I do think there was a version of that could have looked much different. I don't like Pascal. I thought he had a good game today. I thought he had a really, really good game today, and it's hard to argue that he is a downgrade on Biol. It is hard to argue that. I thought he still made
not enough, is it? It's not enough to go. We're going to spend a big amount of money on this guy, and then he's not going to play.
100%. Well, I'd be having the same from what we've seen from Biol so far. My reservations and problems around striking the championship would have been exactly the same with Yaka. From what we've seen now, the time could change, and he's only had 2 starts, and they've both been away from home. We have to be careful not to just be like completely throw it out throw him out as a player. He's had 2 starts for Leeds United in the Premier League. We have to behave a little. But yeah, on the evidence of what we're seeing, he's not enough of an upgrade. He's just not, which is then leaving us short of quality. We know that Pascal Struijk's not good enough. We know he's not. We've been here 2 seasons, record worst defence 2 years in a row, and he was a massive part in all of them. So I don't know. Sometimes we play at left back. I'm not making this a Pascal debate again, but Joe Rodon today, just to kind of flip the other way, I thought it was excellent. I thought it was brilliant, and he at the minute is carrying the team a little bit. He actually is. He's the only one. I thought Bogle was much better today.
Yeah, he was a lot better today, yeah.
Best performance of the season for me. And there was a couple of others as well, and I'm flip-flopping in terms of where I'm going with this chat. But yeah, ultimately, again, though, we're mentioning players that were in his team last season there. Where is the addition quality? Okafor, we've said on here before that he is the X factor that we've got. He's the only real kind of shining light that we've got. He might as well have sat on the bench today. He literally might as well have sat on the bench today. I mean, give me Manor Solomon, man. Give me Manor Solomon every day of the week at the minute. Levels and levels.
Yeah, no, I think he's spot on. I think, there's a bit where the free kick where Rodon turns around to follow the ball going into the net, and he kind of has this like second and a half stare at Perry. And it's almost like you can read his mind, like he's just thinking, what the...
Well, it was there last season, wasn't it? We made.
Yeah, it's like, what am I surrounded by? What is going on? The left-hand side, I mean, Farker's made reference to that in post-match as well. I mean, how many goals is that down that left-hand side now?
They're all down there.
I mean, it's wild, isn't it? I mean, but Okafor again, though, I mean, because I was watching him, he just doesn't run back, and he's almost like, and it's just too late, and it's bang, it's 1-1. Yeah, it's too late. It's too late. Like, you can't switch off like that. You can't switch off like that.
I'm going to say it as well, though. I don't think Gabby's completely resolved of any blame. No. The goals are coming down that side, whether it's Okafor in front of him, Jack Harrison in front of him, whoever. And some of it's down to Gabby. I think we all get gassed with Gabby because he's good going forward and he's fast, and he is. I do like him. I like him as a player, and defensively overall, he's better than Junior Firpo for sure. He's not at that level of bad, but he's at fault for a lot of the issues. Today the first goal, he didn't get anywhere near tight enough, and I'm sure Daniel Mallon's coming behind him. But go and watch the goal again. Gabby's he's stood about 10 yards off of Matty Cash. He's miles away from him. He's not putting him under any pressure whatsoever. He then makes a mistake for the second.
Yeah.
And now people say, it's unlucky. It's not unlucky. It's a mistake. Pascal then makes a mistake straight after in trying to rectify it. And then the free kick goes in. And go and have a look at the goals against Forest. They all come down the left side. I know one of them was Jack Harrison that was there, but before that, it was Gabby. So the left side defensively is a massive problem. Going forward, it's probably our best outlet as a combine. When they're both at it, it's probably our best outlet. But defensively, it's a real problem. It's a real problem. And then you throw Pascal Struijk into that situation as well, down that left-hand side, and I think it's even more of a problem because we know that he ends up getting stuck into left-back position. He gets caught ball watching. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, there's Tom here, thanks for your comment. Swedish lads, Leeds fans, sorry, for 30-odd years. Too many goals are coming from the left-hand side. I think Goodmanson has to be taken out of the team now. I guess the problem is, though, Jay, I mean, where do you go? I mean, you know, like you say, I mean, it's one of the main attacking outlets, isn't it, for us, really? And you know, Jesus, can we do with losing any more creativity and pace in this team? But you know, you just can't be conceding like that. The priority's got to be to sow this defence up. I mean, it's another 2 goals today. I mean, like I think Gav says, you know, or somebody else, you know, the goal difference. I mean, we're getting spanked on that now. Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, bit rogue and it'll never happen, but James Justin at left back and Goodmanson at left mid. I wouldn't be against that. I wouldn't be against that at all because I think Gabby's output going forward is brilliant. I think he's very direct. He's really good at running with the ball. His delivery is pretty good. So you know, maybe you could look at that as a solution. I think Noah Okafor in terms of like his performance today is a real problem because you can negate some of the defensive responsibility that he's going to have if he's going to give you unreal output going the other way. I thought it was pathetic today. I genuinely thought it was pathetic. I think you could have picked any kid from the under-21s or the under-18s and asked him to go and do a job on the left wing, and they would have done just as good, if not better. It was that bad. It was literally awful. And I mean, people are going to be all over Brendan today. Brendan was levels and levels above what Noah put out today. Yeah, just the truth. So yeah. Well, the problem, but another issue with this, Jay, is that left-hand side. You know, I mean, who can we put there? Obviously, if you're not going to put Jack Harrison there as a start because you know you get nothing, literally get absolutely nothing from Jack Harrison. And plus, then if you've got Gabby and kind of Harrison filling the same spaces, you can't really do that. Dan James isn't an inverted winger. Do you put Aronson out there to invert? And this is another problem with the recruitment. We've not, you know, we haven't got a natural replacement for him to have got to play Okafor, even though he looks half fit to me. Yeah, you know, it's stinky. I mean, you know, Nonto, maybe you look at Nonto now and say, right, Willie, you get to start there. But for me, I'd be dropping Okafor after.
I'd drop him as well.
He's not a guaranteed start for me after today. Forget that.
No, he's not.
Listen, prove your place. Prove your place, because that was pathetic today.
Yeah, no, you're spot on. I mean, Nonto's not the answer. He's not. But he couldn't have put out less than what Okafor did today because he was just literally. He might as well have been sat on the bench. So you know, yeah.
Let's just. I just wanted to bring this up. So PSF, 2 Farker fans who don't accept when they are wrong, so desperately spin a narrative where
you're not listening
is the hero. No, not all. I think we're pretty fair with Farker. We criticise Farker. I'm on the fence. I don't know if he should go or should stay. I think it's inevitable that he's going to go. I think within probably a couple games. I believe there is somebody else out there that could get more of a tune or get better results than Farker. But I've already explained I'm not sure we'll be able to even get that guy who can do that. But at the same time, it's not all his fault. And I mean, come on. You know, I mean, what do you think of him, PSF? Do you not acknowledge what he's achieved over the last couple of years? 100 points last year. I mean, it's not all bad, is it?
Yeah, it is wild to me. I mean, if that's spinning a narrative that Fark's not to blame, it's wild. I mean, I honestly believe it doesn't matter the manager in charge. I think that we'd be in and around this points total right now. I truly believe that. You know, a lot of people wanted Jose Mourinho at the beginning of the season. You put Jose Mourinho in charge of this side. What's he going to get out of it? Yeah. Like, honestly, maybe he can rah-rah them into a few blood and thust 1-0 wins here and there, but this team is bereft of quality. It's so bereft of quality. I was kind of on the fence today of to what to expect. By the way, I picked a 2-1 Villa win in our preview. Yeah. I pretty much said it'd be exactly what that game was. that we'd see a spirited performance. The manager would get backed. You could see that the manager was the players were playing for the manager, and we'd lose because of the quality difference. But I just struggle to imagine a world in which any other manager is going to be able to get that much more out of this team. Is there other managers that can do it? Yes, of course there is. Is there a manager on this planet that's capable of keeping this team up? Yes, of course there is. But most of the managers, I would say 99% of the managers that are going to be available to come to Leeds United, that are going to want to come to Leeds United, will see us go down as well. And I'm concerned that our best chance of staying up is with the manager that has put these players together, that's got the backing of the players still, and we can see that on the evidence of the performance today. I'm worried that we bolt too early and we then miss out on a freak opportunity to stay up with this side under the manager that we've got. That's where I'm at. And I want to be proven wrong. I hope after City, and because I think he'll get sacked after City, I truly do. Back-to-back home games against Chelsea and Liverpool, I think the ownership will see that as an opportunity to get points. I hope that the manager that they bring in puts it all right. I want this team to finish as high as possible. I don't care who the manager is. My gut instinct tells me that we'll sack him after City. We will then have caretaker management for Chelsea and Liverpool, and we'll get 0 points. We'll then recruit a manager ahead of the Brentford game, I think it is, and it will be no better than what it is under Daniel Farke, and we'll go down.
Yeah.
That'll be. And Burnley will stick with Scott Parker, and they will finish in front of us. That'd be my. If I could kind of foreshadow exactly how this is going to play out, that is my prediction.
Well, yeah. And is that? Do you think that's because? Do you blame the 49ers for not being able to kind of, have something ready to go, or is that just situational fact of where we are and what we are at the minute?
It depends on where they settle, doesn't it? Because they would. I mean, surely, the 49ers are working on this in the background now. They're going to be having conversations, surely. I just doubt that they're going to be able to attract the level that is going to improve us. Yeah, like, they're going to attract Gary O'Neill, mate.
Do you know what I think, though, as well? I actually get the impression, and from what Farke said as well, is I think they rely on Farke a lot to run the club. I don't feel that it's Farke's one piece of the jigsaw and Adam Underwood and Robbie Evans. It's like this kind of, you can just take Farke out and slot another jigsaw piece puzzle in, and it's fine. Like Brighton do when they get rid of a manager. I don't see it like that. I think Farke came in 2 years ago, took it by the scruff of the neck, and laid out a lot of what happens and why it happens. And I think they're going to struggle if to get rid of him, then you've got to get someone in who's going to pick up all of that. Because let's face it, Adam Underwood, internal appointment, Robbie Evans doesn't know anything about football other than looking at a spreadsheet. So Farke is your football man who's been out there and worldly and knows the situation. So who are you going to get in that's going to pick up all of that?
Imagine going to, when Villa appointed Unai Emery, right? They were in bottom three. There were a couple of seasons back in the Premier League, I think it was 3. I think they were in season 3. So we're not going to be able to attract a Unai Emery, right? Or somebody of his level. But imagine that we went to him in the situation that Villa did back then and go, we've got Adam Underwood, he doesn't know about football. We've got the 49ers. We've got no PSR limit. We've got no sellable assets. We've got Robbie Evans, who we internally promoted into this position here. All of his recruitment team left in the summer for Everton. What manic, guys, listen, PSF, listen to what's been said. You're saying that we're kind of sat on an agenda. Take yourself out of this Farke agenda hate bubble and just take a stock of that situation. What manager is going to be attracted to that job that's better than the best championship manager there has ever been? That's a fact. Yeah, a manager that, and I know you want to disregard his 100 points total last season, but which is just ridiculous. But the manager that only a few months ago was capable of making us win that many points over a season, it's It's a madness. And I so desperately want somebody that's better than Farke. Sorry, camera just blurring. I desperately want somebody that's better than Farke, but I'm just realistic and consciously aware of the situation that we find ourselves in. You know, I just wish Sunderland were down here with us. Because if Sunderland were down here with us, I genuinely think everybody would be much more chill.
But this is the thing. What of Sunderland? Sunderland got an experienced director of football, and they got an experienced director of football that had done it at Roma and done it somewhere else. You know, that's bringing in experience. That that no wonder they're recruit. Imagine if you're the player, no Siddiqui, right? Here's your director of footballer that you're having a chat with. Oh, right, hi, Adam Underwood. Yeah, so compared to some guy who's worked with teams in Europe, has overseen Jose Mourinho being the manager. I don't understand, Jay, how you can go into a Premier League season and have an inexperienced director of football. I would love to know the logic of that, because however highly you rate this guy, it's not a platform for a trial. It's not a platform to, we'll give him an opportunity to see if he can prove to do it. No, it's the Premier League. You need experience. You need someone who's done it before. Are you telling me there was nobody? It just smacks of me of not having enough knowledge from an ownership group of what to do and who to do. It's like when we had Victor Orta before, and he ran it, didn't he, basically, in terms of recruitment, and he was mad, and a lot of things didn't go right, but then he'd get the occasional diamonds. It's like, I just feel with us, it's is it too look at the spreadsheet, and I don't know. I wouldn't trust them to be able to replace Farke with something better, because I just look at the recruitment and I'm not convinced.
Well, you could argue that this recruitment team that we've got at the moment is worse than Orta. You genuinely could. Like, if you look at some of the moves that Victor Orta got right, there were some big deals that he managed to pull over the line. I mean, you're not telling me that he didn't go to Rafinha and sell a project to Rafinha.
Exactly.
I know that he weren't the player that he was then 2 years later that moved to Barcelona, but there will have been plenty of clubs that attracted and interested in Rafinha when we signed him. Diego Llorente, Robin Koch. Robin Koch were on the edge of being a German international. He played for the German national team. He's gone on to now he's actually one of the best defenders in the Bundesliga. Like there is others within that team as well. Rodrigo. Like, we've not signed anyone to that kind of niche. And I know that the PSR situation is different. I do, and I don't want to be completely of bashing of the new ownership. I do think that they've got a certain set of stipulations that they've got to work to that is probably difficult to work with. But there's more, for me, there is more responsibility at their door than there is of that of Daniel Farke. Daniel Farke is responsible for loads of it as well, and the players just not been good enough. I genuinely, for a second, don't blame the players as such, because it's not their fault that they're not good enough. It's not. That they are who we've got, and they are doing their best. I genuinely think that they're doing their best. Yeah. I think that this team right now is maximizing what they have got as a set of capabilities together as a 18-man squad or whatever. It's just not good enough. They're just not good enough. But that's then at the door of Farke first off to get the maximum out of him. I think he's close to getting the maximum out of this team at the minute. I really do. I think this team is probably 3 or 4 points off the maximum anybody could have got.
Yeah. Well, this is it. I mean, I think there's disparity between home and away, though. I think
that definitely exists, mate. It definitely exists. But right, so I said this before the game was played today, right? Right now, as it stands, I think everybody in this chat and you would agree that this team is deserving of 2 more points against Bournemouth, 1 against Fulham, and 1 against Spurs.
Yeah,
4 points extra, right?
Yeah.
What manager would have been able to get more than them 4 extra points that we've undeservedly missed out on? If you're telling me that there is other managers out there that would be capable of that, you're telling me that you think that this team should be 10th.
Yeah, exactly.
You're on another planet. Yeah. So in my head, it makes no sense that we're completely bashing the manager as being the one responsible for this.
Well, it's like the last time we went down, I remember after we signed Rutter, Weston McKennie, and there was someone else in that January. And I remember thinking to myself, I was like, we won't go down. There's no way a squad with these players can go down. We're too good. But then you're watching it and you realise, oh, actually, no, it's not that good. And you know, you're realising the reality of what you're seeing with your squad. And I think that's what we're seeing with this squad now. You're looking at how limited it is in so many areas. And for me, it goes back to recruitment. I look at Nick Hammond. I think losing Nick Hammond this summer, I mean, he was the one really that came in. 49ers, brilliant move to get someone as experienced as him in to see that championship, because we both praised the championship recruitment. I thought they got it spot on both years. Yeah, very few misses. But then you lose a huge part of that Nick Hammond, you know, when you're just about to get into the Premier League. And I just think it all stems from that. And I think you're right. I think really you look at the squad and what Farke's done, and if you add, you know, 3-4 more points into it, where were we going to get more than that? Where were we going to get more than that? The problem for me, the problem that he's got, the problem Farke's really got, and why this conversation has been built up as well, is those two pathetic away performances against Brighton. And that's, you know, it gives people the opportunity. Now we're desperately disappointed with it, and I don't want to watch my team just piss it away like they did in them two games, because I thought we were pathetic in those two games. The thing is, we can't afford, Jay, to have 8 or 9 players on our team putting in stinkers and having 2 and 3 out of 10 performances. We've got to, you know, we've got to have 8 or 9 players putting in at least 7 out of 10 performances. Right. You know,
I agree. And then some of that's definitely on Farke. Some of that's on the players needing to be able to match the output away from home. And some of that's on the fact that they're just not good enough. Because then when you go away from home, the opposition impose their game plan and their ability on you even more. And then the gap looks bigger. It's as simple as that. There's definitely a problem with the away form. And there definitely needs to be something that comes from Farke to put that right. I agree, 100%. Sorry, again, just in case. Mate, sorry, I don't want to go back and forward, but this is nuts. This is nuts. You need to honestly go and understand the league that we're in and the quality of the players that are playing in the mid-table of this division. It's nonsense. But yeah, mate, I don't really know what else to kind of say when it comes to the difference between the home and the away. I don't, but there is a problem. There is a factual problem. I was going to go somewhere on another line with that. What did you say beforehand?
I can't remember. I honestly can't remember, mate. Honestly, I'm thinking of this thing, that thing. I've got a little notepad to jot stuff down so I don't forget, and I didn't note it down, so I'm screwed.
It does feel. This is what I was going to say. The squad that went down last time under Gracia, Marsh, Allardyce in the end, absolutely shits all over this squad. Yeah. Now I love this squad more. I have a real connection to Joe Rodon, Ethan Ampadu, you know, a couple of the others, even some of the new boys I actually quite like. You know, I do like Stack. I watched his A Day in the Life of the other day. I like him. Jaden Bogle, Dan James. You know, I know Dan James was here he weren't here in the season we got relegated, but still, you know, I know he was part of it. But it absolutely shits all over it. Cree Somerville was in that team. Sinistera. We had, you know, Bamford. I've seen people this week call for Bamford. Bamford's better than Dominic Calvert-Lewin now. He's had a 1-month contract at Sheffield United in the bottom end of the Championship, and he's better than Dominic Calvert-Lewin all of a sudden. You know, the same people that have been saying for years to get him out of the side. You know, Mark Rocker, I know he didn't have a great time at Leeds, but he was a good player under the right manager. We could have got a tune out of him. Tyler Adams played up until February of that season. You know, Koch and Llorente were the starting centre-backs. And, you know, Robin Koch played in the team all season. Luke Ayling, Liam Cooper, you know, maybe not the best, but there was something like
that. With the defence where we were super weak on it, really. That was where, you know, we were so vulnerable. Meslier net, obviously.
I will watch it. The reason that I say this and the reason it's kind of come up is my algorithm on YouTube, for some reason, has been showing me a load of the highlights from the season that we went down. And it just reminded me of what we actually had in that team. You know, bear in mind, we finished the season with Jorginho Rutter in the side as well, under another manager, given opportunities. Who knows what we could have seen from him a season earlier. Yeah. Meslier kept us in the Liverpool away game. The Liverpool away game that we won. It kept us in the Bournemouth 4-3 game. I didn't even realise how much of a good game he had that game at Ellen Road. So.
Yeah.
And at the minute, we've got a keeper that literally is not doing anything. I feel really bad because I've defended Perry and I've been wanting him to be a bit of an answer. I don't know, mate. I don't know. I'm waffling. Oh.
It's hard to know what happens because my fear is there's a slump. It's what is it? Would we say 5 and 6 have lost or 6 and 7 have lost?
We've lost 5 and 6, I think.
5 and 6. My fear is this goes on this kind of form, and then we're sat doing streams in January and February, and we're about 12 points from safety, and it's dead and buried, and it's like, oh my God, this is your worst bloody nightmare. I mean, January represents some kind of opportunity, I guess, but again, I mean, this recruitment team or the owners seem to love saying they're not going to do any business, but I mean, you've got to do something, haven't you? January now. I mean, there's got to be something. You've got to do something with this team. Sure, it needs something.
Unless you are resigned to the fact that we go down and come back up again as a recruitment and an ownership and as a management team, and you think, well, the damage around that is going to be less than you pumping loads of money into it and getting it wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I saw a comment earlier that, we're going to be 12 points behind come the end of this run. We're not, because Fulham, Forest, West Ham, they're not going to just start winning every single game all of a sudden. Again, Leeds fans love to do this. We love to catastrophize the fact that everybody around us now, when we're in the relegation battle, is just going to win every game. That's not going to happen. But there is a very high likelihood that we lose the next 3. I don't think we will, regardless of who the manager is, because I truly back us at home to always be really competitive. Again, we saw that today. We've not been soundly beaten by anybody at Ellen Road yet. We've been beaten by a goal by Spurs and beaten by a goal by Villa, who were both far better sides than us. They'll both compete for European spots this season. So I imagine that we'll probably lose the next 3 games and we'll probably be 3 or 4 points behind. I think we'll probably be in 19th. Burnley might pick up 1 or 2 points in that time, and we'll probably be 4 points behind safety. Does that mean we're relegated? No. But it didn't mean that we were relegated or safe 5 games ago either, when we were 5 points out of the relegation. I think I remember us saying at one point we were 7 points clear of the relegation zone.
Yeah.
It meant nothing to me at that point. You know what I mean? Because there's a long way to go. So, I don't think... I personally don't think we'll ever see this team get to the stage where we're 12 points behind, because I think the Ellen Road factor will mean that we get enough points on the board. But again, and I hate to bring it back to it, the fans have to do a little bit more to get right behind it. They need the gap bridging and on the road. I mean, and again, maybe this is where the question of sacking Farker comes in, right? Maybe, and I said this, I think 2 weeks ago after the Forest game, maybe it's just too much of a question to ask of the fans to get behind somebody that they've now lost faith in as a whole. So maybe even if sacking Farker's the wrong decision, maybe you just do it because of the fan impact it could have.
Yeah.
My worry with that is 3 games under the new manager, actually this ain't that good. Oh yeah, the players are shit. Because that's what's going to happen. Yeah. Oh yeah, actually we're just the players.
Well, yeah, and then you're chasing your tail like we were last time we went down, and all of a sudden you're a couple managers into it. I mean, I do think, look, if they're going to take some action, it has to be within the next month or so. I think if you start, if they back Farker and say we're going to try and do something in January, you either have to, for me, almost back him all the way through or get rid within the next month. Because if you sack a manager, February, March sackings, it never works. It literally never works. So you need to, if you're going to do something. But yeah, I've said it ad nauseum. There's just question marks for me about where we go, who we go. You look at Juric at Southampton, a couple of years ago, absolute disaster. You know, I don't know. It's
100% agree with you. If you're going to sack Farker, you have to. For me, you do it after City. You do it after the Man City game because Chelsea and Liverpool will be there to be got at. You know, we know the position that Liverpool are in right now. Chelsea
it's not a given, is it? It doesn't have to be a given that we just roll over and have his bellies tickled.
Not at home. Not at home. It doesn't at all. You know, we've bridged the gap of quality to everybody that we've played against. Bournemouth are everybody's favourite second team. All of a sudden, they're unbelievable unless they're playing Leeds United, apparently. You know, we should have beaten them. We competed really well against Newcastle. Newcastle are not great away from home, but they go and beat Man City this weekend. You know what I mean? But then all of a sudden, Daniel Farke deserves no credit for getting a draw against Newcastle because then Newcastle were shit, but now they're really good. Yeah, you know, like this is what I'm saying. Like we're not fair in this analysis. So anyway, yeah, I think at home, going into Chelsea, Liverpool, you can hope to get a point or two, maybe, out of them 2 games at Ellen Road. So you get Man City out of the way, let them give us a fist in, because I think Man City, after they lose to Newcastle this weekend, are probably going to absolutely tickle us. And then you get somebody in that hopefully the fans can get right behind, but the likelihood is it'll be Gary O'Neill and everybody will be like, yeah, I see, no, okay.
Shout out to our favourite shaman, Dave. They either have to give him the January 26th window or he has to go very, very soon, so a new guy can have it instead. What did you make of some of yesterday's results, Jay? Some wacky ones. Forest beating Liverpool 3-0. Liverpool, obviously, in a bit of a flux state at the moment. And when I saw them winning and West Ham winning 2-0 away, I thought, oh, bloody hell, what's going on here? Fulham winning, obviously, Newcastle winning. Not a great weekend of results for Leeds, was it, really?
No, it wasn't, but there is an argument to say that Fulham beating Sunderland is actually probably the better result. I still think Sunderland are being around it. I really do. I know people, again, won't agree. You know, if we'd have wanted anything, they'd have been 5 points clear of us, something like that. Like, they're not safe just because they've had a good start to the season. I think they will stay up, but I don't think they're as home and hose as everybody makes out that they are. You know, just talking about us being 7 points clear, they're 7 points clear of us. It's nothing. It turns around real quick in the Premier League. I think Forest, we've clearly seen that they're probably going to be just fine. They've got so much attacking ability in that team, and Dyche has got them really going on it by the looks of it. I just think they needed a bit of a settler. I still think West Ham will be in and around it. I don't think West Ham are very good. I know that Nuno's probably that bit of the X factor that makes a difference, and he's so astute in there defensively.
Yeah, yesterday. I mean, how many chances did they miss? I mean, you know, if that's us, probably Bournemouth win 10-1 if that's against us, the way it's going for us at the minute, honestly.
Yeah, I know. I mean, again, I said that today. Where is our luck? Where is the little bit of luck that we just need? It doesn't feel like we deserve to lose at all today. Worse, probably we deserved a point out of the game. And the ball bounces in off Dominic Calvert-Lewin's hands. The 2 goals. I mean, there's an element of luck about both. I mean, I think the Morgan Rogers flick. People said to me, I've seen people say that there was no quality from Villa on display in the second half. Are you joking? Did you see that Morgan Rogers single-handedly just won that game? And we don't have that. So, but yeah, where is our little bit of luck? But you know what? You make your own luck as well. I get that. I do see that. So yeah.
Diggler, thanks for your comment. Glad Farke dropped Harrison from the squad. Yeah, we should mention, Jack Harrison was completely gone from the squad. I mean, for me, it's another recruitment thing where you're looking at maybe not just Harrison, because you probably ask who'd even want him, but not getting those outgoings sorted as well a little bit, being a bit more aggressive with the outgoings if you could be. I mean, that, to end up with 4 bloody goalkeepers in your squad, I mean, it's ridiculous.
I don't know what's happened to Jack Harrison. I mean, I know that Jack Harrison has always split opinions, right? But again, watching the highlight reels of the season that we went down, Jack Harrison's ability to be able to run with the ball and be able to run with the ball disappeared completely. I mean, he's a completely different player. to the one. You go and watch it, just so no, I'm not making it up, right? I implore all of you, go and watch the highlights of the games, especially the ones that we did well in towards the end, the second half of the season that we got relegated. Jack Harrison was actually a player. And, you know, talking Football Manager, we always bring it up once a session. I'm now going into season 3 of my save with Leeds, and I've had to release Jack Harrison on a free transfer, paying 2.3 million to leave. He's on 70 grand a week. Nobody wants him. I had to let him go last season on loan out to the Championship for free, 0% wage cover, just because I needed him out of the squad. And I know it's crazy to say, but that's what they're dealing with in real life. Yeah. Nobody wants him, and nobody wants to pay his wages. So what do? Do you just bomb him out? Because you'd have to pay, it's probably about 4 million quid for 4 years of his deal. Or do you just let him form part of the squad? I mean, he's played over 200 times in the Premier League. Farke didn't want Jack Harrison. Farke was forced to make him part of the squad. That's it.
You've got to talk him up, haven't you? If you know it's clear. I mean, today tells you everything. You know, fit Willie Nonto, fit Dan James, DCL. He's not on the bench. You know, and I expect that to continue. I'm not interested in really seeing Jack. He's probably the worst option you can bring on at this point in terms of if you're needing to be creative. Right, we're gonna have to wrap it up.
Could talk all night.
I know. I wish I could. Me and Jay will be back later in the week, by the way, to give some further thoughts on everything. We'll see where we're at. Of course, if there is anything that does happen, Farke related, we'll try and get on to discuss it. Like yourself, though, I don't expect anything to be announced, but we'll see post City depending on that one. But final thoughts then, Jay. I mean, you know, it's not looking great, is it? But, you know, hey-ho.
Listen, the writing's on the wall for both Daniel Farke and Leeds United season. Do I think it's dead and buried? No, I don't. I truly believe that, you know, we can get behind this team and see them stand a fighting chance. And I would love to believe come the end of the season that we still have an opportunity going into game week 38. That'd be a success for me. Some people will say that I lack a winning mentality. I say go suck one. Because I just see it. I see the reality of the fact of what we've got. And I love the club. I love the team. I wanted the Premier League. You guys wanted the Premier League. So try and enjoy this as much as possible. Let's enjoy having the fight on his hands rather than us just being all doom and gloom, miserable. You know, and if Farke goes after this week or if Farke goes after Man City, fine. Let's move on. Let's get behind the new manager. I'm not asked. I just care about us winning games. So whatever that takes. But just in the meantime, just try and enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. Well said. Sporting Jenny, thanks for your comment, mate. Great stream, lads. Really appreciate that. Please make sure you've liked the video as well. Subscribe to the channel. Get your comments in. Come back for mine and Jay's show on Thursday as well, as we look ahead to the Man City game. Shout out to Downsy and the Town Talk crew as well. They'll be on at 8 o'clock with Huddersfield Town reaction to a good win for Grant at the weekend. So do tune in for that one as well. And we will be back. Thank you very much for watching. I've been Stephen Brown. Joining me as ever has been Jason Booker. Jason, thank you, mate.
Thank you, mate.
And we will see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.